security measures you are putting in place for these artists?
The Office of the Director General, National Sports Authority. This is a quick reaction and clarification to the publication we all saw yesterday at the both front and the back page of Graphic Sports in connection with some $2 million released to support sports development, infrastructure development somewhere in 2009. What I want to say is that this is not a new story. It is something that has been reading on. But per the Auditor General's report before us, that is the 2012-2014 report on the boards and corporations, the Auditor General made some findings. And according to the report, a copy of which I'm holding here, the Auditor General, by examining the records of the management of that project, the background to that project is that Anglo Gold Ashanti released $2 million through the Ministry of Youth and Sports to the National Sports Authority to construct some multi-purpose courts around the country. And the project was co-managed by the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the National Sports Authority. This program took place from between 2009 and 2013. And according to the Auditor General, the project was poorly managed, but certain specific recommendations were made. According to the Auditor General, some contractors who had the opportunity to undertake some of these projects were overpaid according to their contract documents. And per the report, the total amount which was overpaid to about 6 contractors was 130,975.31 Ghana cedis. So first of all, it is not true that the Auditor General is enjoining the NSA to account for $2 million. The Auditor General is saying that management then should pursue these contractors, namely MS Cax Construction, who was overpaid a total amount of 22,703.01. MS GT Freeman Construction was overpaid 74,638.80. MS Desmith Construction was overpaid 2,344.10. MS Charles and Stevens was overpaid 15,644.70. And lastly, MS Charles Stevens again, 15,644.70. So in all, a total amount of 130,975.31 were to be retrieved. So that was what the Auditor General said. So it was very unfortunate that the figure $2 million was used as the total amount that the management of NSA is enjoying to retrieve. And when this report was released to the NSA, per the files available, letters were written to these contractors to come forward and refund some of these amounts. But some of the contractors are still being owed by the NSA. So those ones, it is not very difficult to do the accounting and get the balances. But some have taken all their money, but they were written to to refund this amount, which they have not done. So when we took over as new management, what we did was that we saw to the need to inaugurate a committee which is mandated by law to support the authority to see to all outstanding audit issues. Per the new Public Financial Management Act, there's this new committee established, known as the Audit Committee. So the new management had to lobby the Director General of Internal Audit Agency to get our committee in place for us. It was just 3 days ago that the committee was inaugurated, chaired by a chartered accountant who is not part of the NSA. That committee is a 5-member committee made up of 3 external members, 1 board member, and 1 senior management member of the authority. The committee was inaugurated 3 days ago, and the committee has been charged to see to all outstanding audit issues. And the assurance we are giving to the good people of Ghana is that whatever directives that the committee gives, management will ensure that we carry it to the latter. Where there's a need to report to any state agency to support in implementing any recommendation, we shall do that. So it is not as if the management of NSA is not concerned about some of these alleged malfeasance, but we believe that you must go through the right process and allow structures to work. And that is exactly what we are doing. So that is about the story. To emphasize, the amount involved is not 2 million Ghana cedis, but per the report that we have, it's about 138,000 Ghana cedis. The second issue we want to talk about is the forthcoming National Sports Festival, which we have maybe officially or unofficially informed you is coming on as scheduled from 31st August to 9th September. 7th September. The games village selected is KNUST and Baba Yara Sports Stadium, Kumasi. All 10 regions are coming with 9 different disciplines. We are going to compete in Taekwondo. We are competing in female soccer. We are competing in volleyball. We are competing in handball, para sports, athletics, and table tennis, and tennis. We are expecting over 2,500 athletes and officials to converge in Kumasi for the event. There's going to be a program launch on Wednesday, 16th August at Golden Bean Hotel, Kumasi, and also use the occasion to do some fundraising. We are expecting His Excellency the President to be there to launch, and the Otumfuo too to be there as a special guest. We have invited several corporate institutions to partner us, as well as you, the media, to have a very, very successful event to serve as a platform to unearth new talents for our dear country. The budget estimate for the 1-week event is 2 million Ghana cedis. And we want to use this opportunity to tell the good people of Ghana some of the cost centers why we are going around begging for 2 million Ghana cedis to undertake such an important event. Now, the essence of the sports festival is to create a platform for all talents to showcase what they have. It is open to all. We are targeting the youth. So the directive we have given to our regional directors is that we don't want already known stars. We want new talents to come so that it will serve as a platform to identify these talents, to prepare them for our various national teams. It is also an opportunity to unify the country. That is why we have selected the team sports as a tool for unity and job creation. We just came from the elections, and we believe that this will be an opportunity to bring Ghanaians together again. It is also an opportunity to create jobs. You know that 7 days that we shall be in Kumasi, the local economy will be enhanced in several ways. It is also an opportunity for us to network and share ideas. So it is a very, very important festival which we all need to support and encourage. Now, the cost of transporting all these athletes from the various regions is borne by the NSA. They are going to accommodate them for 7 days. The cost of accommodation is borne by NSA. We shall feed them 3 times a day for 7 days. It's borne by NSA. We need to buy sports equipment for the event. The cost of the venues, the facilities that we are going to use, we have to pay for some of them because the NSA does not have. Of course, the officials we are bringing, the technical people that we are bringing, we need to pay their honorarium and so on. And some other ancillary costs. The media promotions that we are doing. Then, of course, managing the whole program for the 7 days costs a lot of resources. That is why we are appealing to the corporate world to support us with these 2 million cedis to enable us have a successful event. We want to use this occasion to tell the whole country that this is new NSA. After the program, we shall meet you again and account for every peso that we are able to raise. We shall tell you all the sources and whatever every peso was used for with all the necessary attachments. We want to be very, very transparent because we believe that it is a game of transparency that can help sports to move forward. So we are appealing to you. This is a new NSA. Help us to make this program a success. And there's no way we are going to disappoint you in whatever you give to support this program. So we thank you so much for coming. We are counting on you to support us, partner us to make the Sports Festival 2017 a very, very memorable and eventful one. And we hope to continue on it every other year by rotating it through our regions. Once again, thank you very much. Any questions and clarifications or anything? Very important. The overpayment and the owing. Yeah, some of them are owed because in contract management, you pay per submitted certified certificate. So what happens is that the work is done to a certain stage. Then consultants will go and verify. After the work is done to a certain stage, the contractor will put in claims that per the work that I've done, pay me so much of the contract sum based upon the work I've done. And then a consultant will go and verify and certify that, yes, he has done that work, so let us pay him. That was where the problem came. So some of them were overpaid more than the work that they had done when the auditors went to the field. Even though they are not finished all the work, they are not collected all their money. But the stage that they had gotten to, the monies paid to them were more than the work that they had done. So they have not completed the work. So some of the work are still outstanding, and some of their monies are still with the NS according to some of the contractors. So when they finish the work and they come up again with subsequent certificate, that is where we can do the balances and subtract whatever they were overpaid in the first claims that they made. And some of them, they have collected all their money. So it's not everybody whom the NSA owes. It's those who have not finished with the work. And then the 2,500, there are various subcommittees in place. And there's a whole security committee in place, which is liaising with the various security, national state security apparatus to make sure that we provide maximum security for our athletes during the event. So all those things are factored. There's a budget for that. That's why we are requesting the 2 million Ghana cedis that we are talking about. When we bring these security men to come and support us, provide security, obviously they have to be paid some honorarium, they have to be attended to. So that is part of the cost. So we have factored all that into our plans and activities. That's why we said that the new audit committee is going to do a comprehensive work on it. I myself have not gone around to inspect these facilities, but we learned they are dotted throughout the country. At least one was at Legon, and then Obuasi, and then Enche, and then Dadieso, and I learned Watu, Tamale, and the one is just behind us over there. So they are dotted over. This list did not give us all the details, but there's that file there. The audit committee will work on that, give us all the details, and we'll call you again and let you know the outcome of the work that they find out.
How much was each contractor supposed to take for each facility?
I learned each court was valued at $100,000. Sometimes there can be a collaboration between GES and the National Sports Authority to be doing some of these things. Going forward, these are the areas that we want to explore and see how we can collaborate further. But for the law passed by Parliament, which we are mandated to implement, also says that NSA must have a sports festival. Now for the schools, they may not be able to look at all the disciplines. You know, we have about 43 federations and other areas that we do work on. So if there are some challenges there, it's very unfortunate that it has happened that way, but that is not under our control. That is purely GES, Minister of Education. They have written to us to release our facilities for them to use, which we are going to do. They are requesting the Cape Coast Stadium. We will not have any challenge at all giving it to them to use for such an important program. We do agree. But the law and the system enjoins us to have our sports festival, upon which we'll report back to Parliament, to the people of Ghana through Parliament and so on. So that is one of the issues. But I want my technical head to also add one or two things to
Yeah, thank you, DG.
issue that you are talking about. They did not even quote in dollars, but then the exchange rate was quite close. So they quoted in cedis. We noted that Anglo Gold had donated an amount of 3 million Ghana cedis to NSA to construct multi-purpose court at selected locations countrywide. Management on 3 different occasions withdrew an amount of 3,500 from the account and returned it several months later. An amount of 36,479.45 accrued as interest on the drawing was also withdrawn from the account. We recommended that the interest amounting to 36,479.54 that was withdrawn from the account should be returned to Chest immediately. We further recommended that the interest that had accrued on the 1 million during the period of 10 months, which was not credited to the accounts, should be recovered from those who are signatories to the account. The second issue that you are mentioning is we observed that MS Cast Construction, MS GT Freeman Construction, MS Desmith Construction, NMS Charles and Stevens, who were awarded the multi-purpose court project, were paid in excess of 130,795.31 above the certified amount. The inability of the consultant to diligently execute his job and failure of management to review and analyze bills supporting claims contributed to the loss. We recommended that management contacted the contractors and informed them of the error and the amount recovered. Then the next paragraph mentions all the contract amount. So this is the report that we have. Difficult to carry through all these recommendations. So a new law has been passed based on the weaknesses in the earlier law. called the Public Financial Management Act. And that new law is saying that the Director General of Internal Audit Agency should establish in any state agency an audit committee. And some of the functions of the audit committee is to help and guide the agency to see to the full implementation of all audit recommendations. And that committee is made up of 5 members. 3 of them should be outside the agency, external. 1 of them should be a board member of the agency, and then 1 senior management member of the agency. And I've told you that the committee has been formed 3 days ago. It is chaired by a chartered accountant who works with Uni Securities. So it is the responsibility of that committee to take all outstanding audit recommendations and issues to make sure that they are fully implemented. Because sometimes the agency may not even have the capacity to do some of these things. So if the Auditor General says retrieve the money, what do? You write to the person concerned. This is what the Auditor General says has happened. So we have written to bring back the money. If the person doesn't bring, maybe you can report to the police and so on. But it has to follow processes and structures. So now that the committee is in place, the committee will look at it, do all the necessary follow-ups, and make sure that we are able to retrieve the money. If there are difficulties and the committee recommends that further to the Auditor General's recommendation, let us report to the police. Because the Auditor General didn't tell us to report to the police. The Auditor General says retrieve. So what would we do? We ask them to bring it. They don't bring it. Then the audit committee takes it up. Then they give a further directive, go and report to the police. We do it. Let us refer to Yoku. We do it. And we said the process has started. So what do you say? What is the relevance? It's very, very relevant that the committee works to make sure that we get to the bottom of the issue, because it is a process and a system that must work. We will not be happy about our performance over there. And obviously, it all boils down on planning. For me, the essence is not just sending so many disciplines, but focusing to ensure that even the few disciplines that you send, you go there and make impact. You know, we are about preparing for Gold Coast next year. This afternoon, I'm meeting the executives of GOC. We are going to put our heads together and discuss and agree on some limited number of disciplines and make sure we prepare them very well so that when we go to Gold Coast, we make impact. I mean, that is what I think. As to the number of sports disciplines that we have, the applications keep on coming. I even have one on my table already. Yeah, those ones, obviously, you cannot limit because people have their individual interests. But we have put in a committee to come out with what we call categorization modalities. We are going to categorize our federations, and that will determine how resources will be allocated to make sure that we make a maximum use of these federations. And per that categorization, I believe that when our LI2 comes out, some of them may be declared as a leisure sports. And if they want to have them as a leisure sports, and they want us to maybe regulate and guide them, because the new law says that we are to oversee to all sporting issues. So some work is being going on. And don't forget about that fundamental constitutional requirement, freedom of association. So if a group of people want to associate themselves with a very sporting, who are we to say no? Because you are becoming too many, we shouldn't. But it all depends on how we manage the limited resources vis-a-vis the number of the federations. And we believe that we have to be very, very focused. And for us to be focused, we need to have proper planning. For us to be able to have proper planning, it must be based on proper data and proper information. That is why we have the committee to look at how we can categorize, come out with modalities to categorize our federations.
have their separate competition. The universities have their separate competition, the security services. When they finish, we take over. So what they are going to do in Cape Coast, come next week, even our selectors are there to identify the budding talents, like he mentioned, those who are talented, those who are very good, those we can train into the various national teams. So they always finish and hand over to the National Sports Authority, the mandatory body in Ghana in charge of sports. Thank you. Our top ambassadors we have in Ghana, like the Azuma Nelsons, the Asamoah Abedi Peles. It is through the national Ohini Karikari, through the National Sports Certificate, we identify them. And this existed long time ago. In those days, before Kwame Nkrumah, we call it Empire Games. So it is mandatory. So we are happy, those of us, the technical department, we are happy that we have had a DG, and he says, oh, this thing existed so many years in the past. Why are we not doing it? 6 years ago, we'll do it at all costs this year. So we are happy that and we will be in charge in sports in Ghana as far as that is concerned. In fact, my boss mentioned that after this, he wants us to see the CISA games come alive. Most of our top athletes who have finished school, who have been engaged in the CISA games, they are the top national athletes. I call them Ghana professionals. So if it comes off, then whenever we go out, you see that Ghana will bring so many medals as far as sports is concerned. Thank you.
You make copies of the management letter for you. You make copies. So you have the